Welcome back to Jolene's Books and Writers Talk, brought to you by Southern Dragons Publishing. Today, I've got a very special guest for you, Marie Morton. Yes, the powerhouse author and festival maker extraordinaire. Marie wears a lot of hats. She's one of the founding members and current coordinator of the Literary Indulgence Festival, set for June 28th, 2025 at the historic Friday Musicale in Jacksonville, right across from the Riverside's Art Market. This vibrant community-driven book festival is now in its second year, offering a day filled with live music, food trucks, children's storytelling, bookish vendors, raffles, even a costume contest, and a post-festival author and reader mixer. But wait, there's more. Marie is an author with a sizzling novella out this year, A Twist of Fate at the Matchmakers Inn, from the Pinevale Valley Shared World series, published on May 20th, 2025, by First Coast Romance Writers. If you love romance peppered with magic, second chances, and mountain charm, this one's a must read. With over 20 years in corporate communications, nonprofit fundraising, editorial services, and now event coordination and writing, Marie is a true literary dynamo. Today, she joins us to chat about balancing event planning with penning an enchanted romance, what experiences have led her to publishing her second story, and what surprises awaits festival goers on June 28th. Marie, welcome to the show. We are thrilled to have you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marie Morton. I'm an author, I'm an entrepreneur, and I do a myriad of other things. But right now, I'm focusing on two things. I have a book, a novella that's coming out for First Coast Romance Writers. It's called A Twist of Fate at the Matchmakers Inn. So look for that. I'm also working on a second annual book festival at June 28 at Friday Musicale here in Jacksonville. Love everyone to come out and support us as we support the authors. There'll be 30 plus authors there and vendors, and there'll be just activities for everyone. So for children, there'll be storytelling sessions, there'll be face painting, there'll be a bouncy house. For those that like to shop, there'll be vendors in the courtyards, and we also have vendors that offer services. I think Peace Corp's going to be there. We have an academy that's going to be there, and we're working on getting a lot more folks there. Our authors are multi-genre authors. There should be a book that will meet the need of any book lover out there. So come on and join us there.
Okay, let's jump into the question. Can you take us back to the moment you began to question your life's purpose? What sparked that journey for you?
Well, Jolene, as I got older, I began to question. The years went by really fast. As I hit 40, I was like, okay. But as you hit 50, you're like, man, the last 25 years just zoomed by. Mm-hmm. And I began to question, like, what will the next 25 years hold? And once I leave here, what will I leave behind? And I think I found myself just living day to day, doing my job, taking care of my responsibilities, but there wasn't that joy there, that joy de vivre. And that's when my quest began to find out what I'm supposed to be doing here at this time in my life.
Wow. At what point did books and storytelling start to feel like more than just a passion? When did it begin to feel like your purpose?
I always wanted to write a book, and I began a novel, and then life took over, and it has a lot of dust and cobwebs on it right now. I'm going to dust it off. That's one of my goals for the end of the year. But when I had my first short story published with First Coast Romance Writers a couple of years ago, I was so excited when that happened. I was telling everyone about it. I got books. I told my mom. I sent one to her. And as you can see, I'm smiling. So it just brings back just a joy and a happiness to me. And that was one of my most important accomplishments to date, besides my kids. And I think that's when it started to germinate a little bit, once that short story was published.
Nice. How did reading and literature shape your personal and professional identity over the years?
Over the years. I remember I began reading in K4. I remember the little books, I See the Cat is Brown. And that just started my love of books. And it was a place for me to escape. I learned from reading, and it was entertainment for me. And I remember reading every book in the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew series. I would go to the library and I'll be waiting to see if they got a new book out. And when my mom was working, I would wait for her. I'll do my homework. I'm from the island, so this was in Christiansted. So she'll be finishing her work day, and after school, our task was to do homework. And then once the homework was done, I would be at the library, just going through the shelves. I would look literally at each book to see if there was a new one there, and just take it. I'll sit down right there by the shelves and I'll be reading. And the best days were when my mom went to the bookstore and brought a new book. So I was like so excited. And it just brought me joy. It brought me contentment. I love being transported to the different worlds and the characters that it brought to me. I remember that was something that brought me joy, and I really needed to get back to it. And I went to college. The degree that I pursued was organizational communication. And I did a business minor because I figured that's helpful to know the business world. I worked in the financial field, and every job that I took, it always went back to something creative. I was known as the wordsmith in the department. I would try to do the newsletter. I would do the training manual. So I always thought something that was creative kind of kept my juices going.
Yes, that sounds like me. I think I created my first book when I was 5. My teachers were very not enthused about it because I was making books out of everything.
Now it's time for math.
Okay. What was the aha moment that connected your love of books to the idea of building something bigger, a community or business around it?
Okay. I think again, it goes back to when that short story was published. That was an awesome moment for me. And at that time, I began to immerse myself more in the creative world. So I joined First Coast Romance Writers. I joined other writing groups. I think I was in 3 writing groups at the time, and I think I still am. And I've met so many interesting people along the way. I've had wonderful experiences. And then I had the opportunity to coordinate a book festival. And that showed me a different aspect of the literary experience, so to speak, the back office, the business side of it. And again, as I moved in my journey, new aspects evolved. And so that's, again, when I said, okay, I think I need to do something here with this. It's a sign.
Tell us about the transition from discovering your literary purpose to actually founding a business that supports the literary world. What was that leap like?
Back to that book festival that I coordinated, I had the opportunity to actually take it over and be independent and take it on as my own. And then an associate, someone I knew, told me about a program through the Chambers of Commerce here in Jacksonville called Jax Bridges. And that program teaches entrepreneurs the pieces that it takes to build a business. It provides resources to support your business. So that took a lot. But once I finished that, I said, okay, it's time to build a website. And that was challenging. And that was one of the first challenges I faced. I had someone who said that they were going to assist me building a website, and then they disappeared. So it was like, oh, January, February, March, April. Okay, I think I need to do another resource. And then I did find a business that helped me build a website, and they did a great job. It's wonderful. But I learned, and again, this is just learning as I go. I learned that it wasn't the best idea to have my website on a platform that I didn't have access to. And I remember I went to a book festival, and there was a woman who had a bookstore, and she was telling me about her experience where she had a website and she didn't have access to it. And then eventually she was kind of locked out of it. I got a little nervous, and that's when I began the process of, I said, let me get this transferred in. And as you're aware, it went smoothly, but it was tricky. Kind of had to pivot quickly and hope that the folks that had the website works with me. And thankfully they did. But during that time, the website delayed other things, delayed me moving forward with the festival. Most sponsors, they want to have a website. It's something that's a must right now. I swear, they always want that website. Makes you legitimate. And then also even soliciting authors, I wanted to make sure for the book festival, I want to make sure that I did it early, because a lot of authors plan out their year. And so I didn't want to wait till 2 months before to say, hey, here's a new book festival, especially since it's new. You want to build that credibility as well. But once that fell into place, the website, it just, everything, I think, smoothed out. And I was able to start planning that book festival, and also the website itself, just start thinking through a strategy for future services and products that I wanted to do.
Why do you believe that books and storytelling hold such power in an individual's life and in communities?
Because I feel it's how we learn about each other, it's how we learn about life. It provides vital information and history. Because if you don't know your history, then you tend to repeat those negative things that need to stay in the past. And books provides that. And also, I think that storytelling brings people together in the purest form and the most creative way possible. It's so important to us.
What were some of the first steps you took to turn this purpose into a platform for others? And what did that look like in real time?
I mentioned a little bit more just before about the initial work that it took to establish the business side of it, to have that understanding. And I'm still learning all of the different regulations that is needed for the business to operate within compliance. So accountants and friends that know have been my best friends right now. And then, like, joining the different writing groups, the literary groups, I attended book festivals just to learn what the other festivals are doing, to see what works, to see what didn't work, to hopefully make mine more of a success. And then just getting to meet the authors. A lot of the folks that do this, they do it because they love it. But some folks, they don't make money from it because it takes a lot of work in this endeavor. And you have to take that time to be creative and also be a part of that business part, publishing, the marketing, the social media of it. And so that was like the first steps. I think it's just learning all of those and trying to integrate everything that I was learning so that I can move forward. I'm still learning, I'm evolving. You don't learn everything in a day. I'm very grateful to people who answer questions for me. Sometimes you make mistakes, and that's how you learn. That's my process and my journey right now.
Alrighty. How did the idea of the Literary Indulgence Book Festival come about, and how does it reflect your overall mission?
Initially, the inaugural book festival is called Indulgence Book Festival, and it focused primarily on the romance genre. A lot of authors were turned away because they did not write romance with that first festival. And so I found this to be very limiting. So I stepped back and I made a few changes. One with the title. I wanted to say, okay, what are we indulging in? And it's literacy. I changed the title. It's now, instead of just Indulgence Book Festival, it's Literary Indulgence Book Festival. And more importantly, I open it up to all genres. This way, the reading needs for all of the book lovers out there can be met. And it also matches my mission for my organization, which is to support, engage, and collaborate with the creative community, and also emphasizing the importance of literacy in books, all books.
What advice would you give to somebody searching for their own purpose, especially if they feel drawn to creative or community-based work?
The first thing I would say is don't give up. In my life, I've seen people, they seem to know their purpose. They know what they're here for. They're like, even in college, I used to wonder, how did they know they wanted to be a lawyer or a doctor or a nurse? Because I love to read. I did communications. It was very broad. I'm like, okay, we can do anything here. But I would say just to keep at it. Don't be afraid to step outside your box. I know it can be frustrating and to take those steps, especially when they're unfamiliar or scary to divert off your path. You're like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep doing it. But you have to be able to take that step outside and just to find your happy place. You know, it's there. And you got to find that source of fulfillment. So once you begin that journey and you're on the right path, everything's going to fall into place and you'll know that you're there.
Okay.
So,
I know the website probably has this information, but what is the cutoff for vendors and to join the festival? I know the authors area is all full, which is
yeah.
cool.
For the vendors, Based on experience from the previous book festival, I said the month before, so it would technically be May 30th, but I find that a lot of vendors, they're like last minute committers. Should I say that? I'm looking for vendors that are interesting. I wish I had some game vendors, but any artisan out there that has a great product, I would love to hear from you. We will have some food vendors there to fill it out. We're going to have some music. We have a cool vibe. It's called Cool Vibes Band. It's a steel pan and a guitarist. And so they're going to be playing music for us from 12 to 3. I mentioned the face painting for the kids. We're also going to have an artist. Her name is Teresa Cook, and she's going to be doing live portraits throughout the day. Great artist here from Jacksonville. So just a lot of local talent, regional talent. I just want everyone to come on and have a great time. It's not just a book festival, it's a book party. So everything for everyone is going to be there.
Very cool. You said that you were going to have a separate children's area, and for all the parents out there, we want you to come in. And other than there's something about storytelling, can you tell us
Oh,
what?
sure. Yes. So we have a venue. We dubbed it the Children's Cottage, and we're going to have storytelling sessions there. We have Elaine Charles. She does a very unique storytelling session. It's an oral session. She has her drums, and she'll do oral stories, Native American and African, and the kids will have the opportunity to participate in the circle. And then we're also going to have 2 other storytelling sessions. They turn out to be teachers who are authors or authors who are teachers. But Nadine Joseph and Miss Shern, they also will be doing a storytelling sessions. And we're going to have Joan Warren. She will be doing sensory activities. And she feels that to be able to read, you have to be able to write. She's a former OT consultant, and she has books. So she's going to have some sensory activities for the kids there. It's going to be awesome. And then for the fun, we're going to have the face painting, the bouncy house. We're going to try and get a little bit more, but we don't want to leave the kids out. We want to make sure that new generation is excited about reading. And we also will be giving out a free book to each child that comes. So that's another incentive.
Very good. So many things happening in the end of June.
Yes.
Right. Is there anything else you would like to share about the festival, your writing?
I don't want to forget about the workshops. Yeah, for the readers, the writers out there, we have workshops and presentations. Lana McCara will be there, and she'll be telling us how your deepest, darkest secret could be your next bestseller. Janice Hardy will do a workshop for the writers, and she will be showing us how to get from A to Z. She calls it the getting through the middle muddle. What do I put in there? How do I get to the end? She has a business called Fiction University. And so she offers a lot of books and guidance for writers. And then next we have Shakira Thompson, and her presentation for readers and writers is titled The Heart of a Romance Author. And she has a business called Love 365. She feels that you can have romance throughout the year. And then last but not least, we have Frank Gooden II, UNF professor, Emmy Award winning filmmaker here in Jacksonville. And he has a new business called AI Consultant. And he's going to show us how. I know there's been some negative things about AI, some positive things, but he's going to show how AI can be integrated to work to help you, whether with social media, with your book, how to make it a blockbuster. He has some great stuff for his presentation. I'm going to sit in myself because I'm eager to see what he's going to share. But we have something, again, for everyone who wants to attend that day.
All righty. So that's Saturday, June 28th at the
Yes.
Friday Music Hall
Yes.
downtown off of
Yes.
off of Riverside.
Yes. Across from RAM, right? Riverside Arts Market.
That's the one. That's the one.
It's from 10 to 4. One last thing, I tell you, we have so much stuff. You got to come. We have, to cap off the day, we have an author and reader mixer from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And it's just a time to come and relax, mingle, meet some of the authors. We're going to have spoken word. We have a DJ plan. We have a great caterer. And so it's just time to just relax after the day and just still get some networking in as well with some good food.
Very good. You got it covered, I think.
I think that's it.
Thank you, Miss Marie, for participating and
Thank you
being
for
on my
having me.
podcast today. Woohoo! Well, that was an interesting interview. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you did, we hope you will like, subscribe, comment, and share our post with your social media and your friends and family. If you're an author or anyone else in the book business and would like to be part of our podcast, we would love to have you. Check out the website, southerndragonpublishing.com, and there's a tab for the podcast. Check it out. We'll see you next time.